glad that you could join us. And I'm going to kick things off and talk for just a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kat Pettyjohn, and she'll turn it over to Scott Baldrich, and we'll end with our cleanup hitter, Kelly Giles. We're on the Zoom situation, so we only have 40 minutes. If we should not have time to answer questions, just reach out after. You can contact us by email or give us a call if you want to follow up with anything. I wanted to start off by talking about the Georgia Tax Credit Scholarship. Some of you may know about that. Some of you may have used that, but it's been underutilized by our community as a whole. The Georgia Tax Credit Scholarship is a program by which anybody, individuals, married couples, S corporations, or regular C corporations, can divert part of their Georgia income tax liability to something that's called an SSO, a student scholarship organization. And when they do that, they go online, and I have sent the flyer home that has the website on it. You go online and you create paperwork that the SSO, which in our case is Georgia SSO, they call themselves GASO. You go online anytime after the 1st of May, enter your data, and then they hold that data until the 1st of January of 25. And then at the stroke of midnight on the 1st of January, they dump all of the saved documents into the Georgia Department of Revenue, and the Georgia Department of Revenue then approves the total amount that the family or the individual pledged, or they prorate it. The reason that they would not give the full amount is A, you didn't have that much in tax liability, or they didn't think you would, or B, they have a cap for the program of $130 million, and that's all. And so if people want to divert more than $130 million, they can't. It limits off, and then everybody's individual pledges are prorated. So what happens is when you go on to the GASO website, and you can use the QR code in the flyer that I sent, you're going to log in, and you get to donate as an individual up to $2,000, as a married couple up to $5,000. If you own an S corporation, you get to donate up to $10,000. And if you know anybody that actually has any input with a C corporation, they can donate up to 75% of their total Georgia income tax liability. And when I use the word donate, that's really an incorrect word, but that's the word that GASO uses, because these monies are funds that we are all going to be paying to the State Department of Revenue as part of our taxes anyway. We're going to be putting those funds into the state's hands. And by going in and signing up for the GASO tax credit, then what we're doing is we're saying we want this portion of our tax liability to not go to the Department of Revenue. We want it to go to a student scholarship organization. In Eaton's case, it's GASO that we use. And then once the money is in that student scholarship organization, we can help families get a scholarship. We can apply it directly to tuition. There are certain conditions that have to be met. But if we have the funds in there, we can lower a family's tuition. We can bring new students in who might not be able to afford us in the entirety of the tuition. And it helps individual families, and it helps the general enrollment of the school. And it's, as I said a second ago, these are funds that we're going to be spending anyway. We're going to be paying them to the state. And by going in and filling out the form on the GASO website anytime after the 1st of May, we get to redirect, we get to have a say as to how part of our money is spent. It's going to go to GASO. It's going to be diverted to them in the name of Eaton Academy. And then we're going to be able to turn around and apply that directly to families and help them with tuition.
But you can't choose, like, we're familiar with this. We did it at MDE in the past. But it wouldn't help Sloan's tuition, correct?
In Sloan's case, no, it would not. It would just be something that's going to help the general population in that regard. The only real negative on it is most of us pay our Georgia income tax a little bit at a time in monthly or weekly paychecks. And if we make a contribution through this program, it all has to be fully funded between January, like the 4th, when they approve it, and March 9th, typically. So it can be a little bit of a cash flow crunch for families, but it's money, as I've said twice now, we're going to spend anyway. And a lot of folks over the years that have participated find it a nice thing that they actually get a say in how their tax dollars are spent, and they know that they're going to a good cause and helping families. And again, the individuals can donate up to $2,000, married couple up to $5,000. And if you or anybody you know owns an S corporation, you can donate up to, actually, I think it's 25,000. I think I said 10, but it's 25,000. And if you put a particular amount on your pledge form, that doesn't mean you have to, you're obligated to pledge that amount. It means that that's what you're asking for at the maximum. And it's always, if you're going to pledge, it's always a good idea to pledge the maximum, because if you're approved, you're probably going to be prorated. You're probably going to be approved for less than what you have put on the paper. And that way you still have the maximum amount that you have available. If you're approved for a certain amount, you don't have to pledge anything if you don't want to. You could have changed your mind. Or you could have said, well, I was going to pledge 5,000, but I really feel only good to do 3,000. And if that's what you want to do, any amount is a good amount. It helps. And it's something that I say that there are the certain circumstances, and it does work for some families, but not all. But it's a good thing, because if we can help the general enrollment, that helps it for all the families in general, because that's a way to help us try to keep a lid on the tuition increases, because we have more students that are offsetting some of the cost. So if you want more information, look at the paper that I put on as the attachment, and you're always welcome to give me a call, shoot me an email, or come in person and talk about it. It's money that's really just sitting there waiting for us to grab and help all the individual families. So in that, I want to shift over and let me have Kat come in, and Kat's going to talk about funding that is primarily for folks once they get to the postgraduate side of things, but can be funding that can be available for all ages. Kat?
So you all were given an additional flyer called Other Services Info. There's a few programs on there, and the first two that I want to discuss, one is Bobby Dodd Institute that you may have heard of, as well as In Community. I'll kind of talk about them both at the same time because they're the same type of program. They're both family support, community living support programs. In order to qualify for those programs, your child just needs to be 3 years of age or older, diagnosed with an intellectual or developmental disability, and you have to be able to show documentation of that. The only difference between the two programs is the counties that they cover, and those are listed on the sheet for you as well. When you apply, if you're approved for these services, they can be used for all kinds of different things while they're currently in school, things like dental and vision, and for 3-year-olds, even diapers. But for some of our high school program students, which a lot of the families that I see on here are middle school, high school, they can be used partially for summer camps and things. And then when they reach to our post-secondary options, like our LEAP and life and supported employment, we can use those for things for independent living, life coaches, as well as for some job coaching and things like that. So those are the first two that are listed on the sheet. It's got all the requirements there. I pulled those off of their websites. It's got a handful of the sources that they are services that they provide. It's not an exhaustive list. They've got plenty more. And so some of that money you can start applying for and using now. Now, it's not going to go, like I said, towards your tuition, but it could be possibly used for things like summer camps and so on. So some of the key terms you want to look for when you're applying and they're asking you questions would be things like family supports, community living supports, community access group, community access individual. Those are some of the buzzwords that you want to look for when talking with a counselor on those items. And then on the second sheet, it's the same document.
Kat, let me stop you a second, Kat. Again, given the audience that we've got, is there a reason why we might want to encourage families to reach out to those agencies now?
They can use them probably for some summer camp items.
It takes a while to get approved, yes?
Depends. These two services, family support services, move a little faster than the waiver, which is the one I'm going to get to. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, and I was going to get to that at the end about when you want to apply. But for these, since your child is already 3 years of age or older, you can go ahead and start applying now. And you can get approved sooner than later because their waiting lists are not as long as like the now comp Medicaid waiver, which is the next thing I'm going to get to.
Okay.
So on the second page of that document is, like I said, the now / comp Medicaid waiver. You cannot be receiving family supports and Medicaid waiver at the same time. Those family supports, the first two that I discussed, are kind of like a placeholder while you're on the waiting list for the waiver. Their funding is not as large as the waiver, but it is something to help support families. The waiver, in order to qualify for the waiver, your child has to have a diagnosis of an intellectual disability prior to the age of 18 or a closely related developmental disability, such as severe forms of cerebral palsy, epilepsy, autism, prior to the age of 22. And you have to be able to, again, show paperwork and, what am I trying to say?
Proof.
Yeah, proof. Sorry, there we go. Show proof of disability. Now, the Medicaid waiver cannot be used until your child turns 22. However, the waiting list for the Medicaid waiver is anywhere, could be from 2 to 5 years. And so the perfect time to start applying for the Medicaid waiver, because it gives you all of the same stuff that Family Supports does and more, the perfect time to start applying would be now in middle school and high school. And the reason for that is because over 7,000, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like you say, it's like 7,000 people are on the waiting list, and every year only 500 new people can get a waiver.
That's correct.
So that means that the waiting list is quite extensive, and also the paperwork that goes into it is also quite extensive. So starting to apply for those things now, even though they can't get it until they're 22, is crucial. If you wait till they're 22, it is not the end of the world, but they may not receive that funding until, say, they're 25 or 27. And so to get your name on the list and in line now is perfect. And with all of these things, just kind of like SSI and other programs, if you're ever denied, don't let that discourage you. I would appeal it and try again, which is why it's best if you start to apply now, because it is possible you could be denied and then have to reapply again. So,
Can I ask a quick question?
yep, go ahead.
When they get SSI, I assume they can get Social Security and the Continental waiver.
Yep.
Okay. And you said that 7,000 people on the waiting list and they only take 500. Isn't that like 14 years?
Well, it's a matter that on the waiting list, some of them are culled because they don't meet the criteria, and so those they can fall off. And then also people, whatever, they move out of the area, they take themselves off the list. So it's not as daunting as the number initially sounds.
Okay.
But yeah, so SSI, a lot of that can cover, like when, for instance, Sloan, if she were, to move out of the house, SSI can be used to cover rent and things. The Medicaid waiver can cover, obviously, Medicaid, medical expenses and things. But again, it covers some of the very same stuff that Family Supports does, like life coaches, job coaches, community access individual, community access group. So things like the LEAP program, or even some summer camp items. And so it covers some of the very same stuff, but you get a lot more funding than family supports can offer
Can't
you.
use it for living.
Can't use it for what?
Can you not use it for living?
They've got an exhaustive list. It's honestly, it's probably 50 items long. There are some things, yeah.
I thought you could, that's why I was just asking. And I can follow up with you. If any of you have like a contact for Social Security, Sloan's been on the list since she turned 18 last year, and it's at 90%. It's been sitting there, and I've had somebody tell me we need to call like the local Social Security office or try to call somebody because it's probably stuck. I don't know. But if you guys have any contacts with that, let me know. I mean, because we need to reach out to somebody trying to get that pushed through.
Okay. Yeah, I can look to see if I've got anything, if any other parent has suggested anything, you can reach out. And again, you don't have to like try to memorize or anything. All of the QR codes that lead you to the applications or the websites are all in the PDF sent to you. It's called Other Services Info from Brian. And the very last piece on there, a lot of you have probably heard of it, the GVRA, so Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency. They cover things that are vocational related only, so jobs. And we use them for supported employment mainly, but their biggest, the place that we get the most value from them is our GROW program, which is this summer camp that Scott leads. So I'm going to go ahead and let him kind of take it from here to talk about GVRA and the GROW program and all that.
Oh, Scott, before you start, Amy, back to you. Yes, we can check to see if we've got anybody that can help you with that. What we've seen over the years, and Scott, again, you correct me if I'm wrong, is it oftentimes takes families getting an attorney.
Really?
And pushing
Yes.
pushing them through, even before they've been denied or what have you, is I need to have somebody help me with this. And
That's interesting. It's been at 90% for a while.
Yeah.
But, and I don't know why she wouldn't get approved. I mean, she should.
No, I mean, no, it's just a matter of, the right button being pushed by somebody.
Right. Yeah.
And somehow, I mean, I know this is not the case, but it always seems like a bit of a conspiracy between the government and the attorneys. My apologies to anybody that's an attorney out here, but it's like, if you get the attorney, then wow, everything is happening. It worked I have an older brother, and he certainly qualified for it, but he was turned down 2 times. And the first time, it took him a long time before they even would respond. And once he got the attorney, it all went through. So, sorry, Scott.
No, it's all right. And thank you, Amy and Sloan, for already having your stuff in for the GROW program. All right. So the GROW program is a wonderful thing put on by GVRA, where they run a week-long program, and it's very specific to it. I won't go into detail and bore everyone with it, but the week covers a bunch of different things that young people might be interested in knowing before they get out of high school, and are wondering what to do next. Friday, we'd go do tour a college, because we do talk about the college system. After that, though, they will also pay for the next 2 weeks of the LEAP program. And so it's a great way to experience the LEAP program if you are between the ages of 14 and younger than 22. It costs you nothing, and it's very easy. All Amy had to do was fill out a piece of paper and email it to me. I send it off to a counselor, and they said she's in the system now. That's pretty easy. So if you are between the ages of 14 and 22, please reach out to me. I'd love to have you all come for our summer program. We have 3 weeks in June, 3 weeks in July, and you are only really, from what I understand, required to come for the first week. They really want you there for the GROW part. So we'd be happy to take people part-time as well for this.
Scott,
Kelly?
can you remind me, she's only able to come unfortunately 1 week in July, and I had it marked out, but now I don't know if it's the first week. Hopefully it is, but maybe you can tell me later what first week, what dates that is.
Yeah. I can shoot you an email, because I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Okay.
The first week of July is the
8th?
Yeah, it's the 8th and through that Friday. What would that be, the 12th then?
Okay, she can't come then. She's got camp. I have her
And then it's
come the next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also good in June, if you wanted to do the June,
Yeah.
which is the 3rd through the 7th.
Okay.
And the nice thing with the GROW program, as Scott was saying, is in essence, it gives the student a 3-week summer camp free.
Yeah.
It's only good for, a family can only use it once in the summer though, right, Scott? Or is it
Yes,
twice?
one time.
Yeah.
So make sure you use it. No point in losing it.
Yep.
Kelly, on to you.
Okay, well, I was just going to mention, I think David's on here too, and I think David Jones may be getting close to 14 if he's not already, so he might be a good candidate to join. All right, so I just wanted to share some information for our high school students, and I really wanted to kind of well, it's not even just for high school. It's really important for even those of you who have middle school students to go ahead and familiarize yourself with Georgia Futures. Georgia Futures is a website that is actually an extension of Georgia Student Finance Commission. They offer many benefits to the students, and they provide a lot of information, such as how their GP is in relationship to the Hope Scholarship. It offers some opportunities for students to take free career evaluation surveys. And I think the biggest thing, and the thing that really connects to the financial portion of Georgia Futures, is the opportunity to enroll in college for free through dual enrollment. And the requirements and eligibility requirements really are only that you attend a public or private school in the state of Georgia. So you should check it out. Even for some of you who may think, well, I don't know if that would work for my student, perhaps an elective is the way to go. Or maybe it's just not an option. It's fine if it's not, but it's free and it's out there and it's worth considering. So if you have a middle school student and you think you'd like them to start dabbling, it's a good idea to see what the courses are, what kind of colleges you think might be a good fit for your child, and go through their offered courses. Just to have an idea, give them an opportunity to think about it and talk about it, get that conversation going. Then once they are 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, they are eligible to participate. 10th grade has some limitations. 11th and 12th grade has fewer limitations. And it would be important to note that for people who have enrolled once already, you're not enrolled once and enrolled forever. You have to enroll every year. But once you've enrolled for the year, you're enrolled for the full year, meaning summer, fall, and spring. So it's something to consider. Georgia Futures is free. You just sign up for a free account.
Yeah, and Kelly, that dual enrollment, as far as we know, that works for like the technical schools, right?
It does, yes.
Or Georgia,
So
yeah, Gwinnett Tech.
It's 2-year and 4-year schools.
Yeah.
I guess there's a list of schools that it will work for. And is it for typical kids too?
It's for everybody.
Everybody.
Yep. And there's quite an extensive list. So it would be a good thing for you to kind of go through and look at what schools are available that you think might be feasible for transportation, although they do offer virtual classes. And we are currently at Eaton, we've noticed a need from some of our kids who have taken these classes. Some of them need a little more support than they get from their college professors. So we're in the process of working on a program to support students who do dual enroll. And we're also looking into starting a program to support students who have enrolled in college outside post-secondary program once they've graduated, to support them through some of their college endeavors by giving them a place to come and get some support from other teachers. So those are in the works. They're not settled yet, but there's something to consider because, we see that there's a need for it. So we can do that. We can certainly do that.
Over the last few years, actually, we have had some parents of kids that went on to college, and the students were obviously very comfortable having taken their high school courses with us. And the parents got back to me and they would say, he's taking a freshman math class and he's having some trouble. Can I put him with Ms. Jaife in independent study? He knows her and he's comfortable. And so they've reached out to set up these types of college support class, and they've been very successful. And we sort of said, hey, that's kind of a ball that we dropped a little bit there. We should be more proactive and let families know that that's there. But again, the really good thing about the Georgia Futures is, number one, that there are many pieces to it. And number two, that if a family feels that doing some type of a dual enrollment program for their child is a good thing, the child could, not necessarily always, but could qualify to get that taken care of for free at the state's
That's
expense.
correct. And another thing I'd like to mention is while they take that course, providing they pass it, they receive both high school and college credit. They essentially get a full credit if it's a semester course, or 2 credits for taking this course. They get one on their high school transcript and one on their college transcript. So it can kind of help them dip their toes in the water, see what it's like to take a college class. And our goal, obviously, is to create this program that will help to support them as well. At this point, we get nothing out of it. It's just a suggestion to you guys to give you an idea that this is something that's out there. It's an opportunity to try a class potentially for free. They do have to be approved, and that does require that you go online through Georgia Futures and apply. It's
Do you
an
know
easy,
sorry, go ahead.
it's an easy process to apply. The response takes time, which is why I suggest doing it sooner rather than later.
Okay. Do you know if this applies to, like, I know Kennesaw has a program for kids like Sloan, does it apply to those kind of programs too?
I didn't see any classes from that program on their list of courses that were offered.
So do you think
But-
it's only
but
like
that
typical
is-
schools?
Well,
Like typical-
that is an excellent question, though, for their counselor. If you call Kennesaw's counselor or admissions department, they would be able to answer whether any of those are on there. I didn't see anything that indicated that it was part of that program. And I'm not sure that they are actually still, I don't know that that program is still in existence. I've heard
Amy, you're
rumors
talking
that
about the
they're-
college learning experience?
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that they're phasing it out. But I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know Alex was supposedly going, or he told me that. I don't know, but then I don't know. We haven't really started looking at that yet. I mean, it'd be great if Sloan could do some sort of college program, but it obviously would be like a specific type of program. And I've heard different schools have them.
Yes.
But I
But
wonder if
it doesn't
apply
have
to
to,
them.
that's what, sorry to interrupt, but that's kind of, where we were going with our thinking is if Sloan, for example, wanted to take a course through like a technical college or a 2-year college, we would have this program in place to support her, because she's not going to be in the class every day. It's usually a 2 or 3 day meeting with the class professor. Those other days she could come to Eaton for support on those assignments to help her figure out what they're asking to do and help her get the work done. So that's kind of what we were thinking with that support class that or that support program we're considering.
Okay. I mean, it'd have to be a pretty slow paced class. Like, I don't see her being able to take like a regular freshman class, right? Like, I mean, I was gonna start looking into some college programs maybe next year when she's in 11th grade.
Sloan, I think, has a lot of interests in Sloan. If you were interested in drawing, as an example, wouldn't that be something that you might like to take in a college? Just think about it. You don't have to answer me because we're on camera, but think of something that you're interested in. Even electives are on that list. So just think about it, look through the list, and we can talk more privately, Amy, about those things, but I think that would be something to consider. It's not out of the realm of possibility for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's actually brings up a good point. Kelly, and you and I probably should be the ones. We should follow up and contact Kennesaw, for example, ourselves to see, are they still doing
Right.
the college learning experience? Because I'm pretty
We
sure
do
it
get a lot
wasn't-
of questions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in place this year, but it was during this year that we were getting the mumblings that they might not be going to be continuing it. So,
Gotcha.
Mhm.
is that it for you,
That's
Kelly?
not the only option. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
no,
it.
that's just the one that was mentioned. So,
Yeah, those are what they call IPSI programs. And just to make it clear, you don't get a college degree out of any of those. You get certifications only. So just keep
What
that
is
in
it
mind.
called
Where
again? What's it called?
IPSI,
IPSY. Oh, E.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
an
it was
E.
Y, but we're both saying the wrong thing.
Well, and the thing is it's good, Kelly, that you're bringing up the support there, because that is the difference, right? Those IPSI programs like Clemson Life and Kennesaw's current one, they're going to get certifications, but they're not going to have a degree. Whereas what Kelly's referencing is if they were to go to a technical school and enroll in a college class where they're going to get some college credits, we can help support, and they could potentially at the end of it at least come out with an associate's. So that's the difference between the two there is. We're trying to help them maybe get a degree, whereas those IPSI programs, you're going to come out with certifications only.
Okay.
Mhm.
Kelly, that's it for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, by
Kat,
the way, it's
any-
good to see everybody. Hi, Leanne.
Okay.
Hi, David. Did I miss anyone? Who am I missing?
Uh,
I think that's
Hello.
everybody.
think that's
Oh, I
it.
see Steve. Hi.
You think that are
Oh,
we
Sharon
old
is
enough
there
to
too.
are we
I
old
see
enough
you
to
peeking in the
remember
corner.
are we old enough to remember Romper Room? Is that what you're doing, Kelly? I see Steve and I see Amy. Kat, anything else?
No, not that I can think of, but if anybody has any questions about family supports or anything like that, the best option is probably to go to those QR codes that are on that sheet. But if you are having trouble, can't reach anybody, let me know and I can possibly get you a contact.
Okay. Is comp
Scott?
now specific to Georgia? Do you know?
I believe so. And it's the same waiver. The comp waiver is the more intensive version, which would be Sloan, and for instance, would probably be on the now side. The comp is typically for people who need more intensive and 24/7 care.
Yeah.
But it's the same, yeah, it's the same waiver. It's still a Medicaid waiver.
But you probably have to maintain residence in Georgia to get it.
Yeah, and I'm sure other states have them. They
Yeah,
just call
it's
them
different.
something different. Yeah.
Okay.
Scott, anything from you?
I mean, if you're interested in summer and between the ages of 14 and 22, I'd love to have you come.
And you want to do it and you want to do it for free.
Yes, but if you are hearing this sooner than later, because we are months away from May and GVRA takes a long time to process stuff. So sooner is better always with this.
So, and any parents that have been quiet, anything that we've talked about? I know a couple of you came in later. We are recording and we'll send you a link to this, but can we answer any questions for anybody? Something pop up? No? Okay. All right. Well, again, I thank those of you who are here for joining us. And if you do have questions, you probably got all of our emails, but if not, you can just contact me and I'll direct you in the right area. And again, the Gasso situation that opens up the 1st of May, but any of the other ones you can reach out to at any time. So thanks for being with us and
Wait,
appreciate
hold
it.
on, pause, wait, I thought of something else. Amy,
Uh-oh.
Sloan
Yes.
likes to do social club. Those family supports can cover her social club costs.
Okay. I know we need to apply for comp now or whatever, but I wondered if it was worth applying for the other stuff too. But I appreciate you guys doing this. It's helpful. You know, we're at that point where we're starting to try to figure some things out. And it can be daunting. So I appreciate it.
Well, and since Kat has mentioned that again, I didn't want to pitch programs, so to speak, but with some of the names that I'm seeing, I know that some of you may not be aware of what we're talking about. So give me a quick piece of your time. Once the student graduates from our high school, there is a post-secondary offering that we have, which is Scott's LEAP program. And the LEAP program offers, we call them participants at that point. It offers them a chance to do job sampling. They go to various work sites around town. They do it in a rotation, so they get different job skills that they're picking up. They do that in the morning, and in the afternoon, Scott and his staff work with them on, yes, it's classes, but it's more independent living classes. And they're learning how to manage their money. They're learning how to do a grocery list. They're learning how to interview. They're learning how to do resumes, that sort of thing. So the goal of LEAP is to help them become more independent in their living arrangements and in their skill sets, and maybe to get them on the road to getting a job. And once they have experienced all that they feel they can from LEAP, then they really graduate into an area that CAT works on, which would be transition services that helps them more intensely prepare for independent living, maybe getting them ready to move into one of the apartments. And we offer a life coaching experience for students who now want to move out and want to be on their own, but they're going to need a little bit of help. And the parents no longer want to be the bad cop. Basically, you're hiring us to be the bad cop and going over and telling them that your bathroom is dirty and look at this place, it's a mess.
Sloan calls me the mommy police.
Well, there you go.
Which I don't want to be anymore.
So, and we
Yes.
can take that pressure off. And then
Yes.
another area that CAT works is we actually will help the kids get jobs that they're interested in. And again, from Kelly's side, if they've done the Georgia Futures career survey, that can help narrow down the fields of what they'd be interested in. And they go through a series of practicing interviews and job searching, and we help them do that. And then when they get the job, one of CAT's staff will actually go to the job site with them and support them. Our staff member is there every hour of their training, if that's appropriate. And then it slacks off to being just a few times a week as they need. So for the younger families, the families with younger kids that I see on here, there are programs that we can help you with later on. It's just a matter of if they're going to be appropriate for you. So reach out and let us know if we can help.
Does GVRA pay for that year of LEAP or no?
GVRA is a multi-headed monster. You have to get a counselor with them. There are a lot of great services that they do. We have had GVRA do funding for some of what LEAP does. And Scott, help me, is that CWAT and?
No. So they will do 2 codes, usually job sampling and what's called workplace readiness.
Yeah.
The problem with GVRA is we're not allowed to provide services until we have an authorization. And because they're slow with everything, it takes weeks for them to get the authorization. So
More months.
say you started in August, you'd probably really start in September. And then for October, they'll be 2 weeks late getting the next authorization because it's a month by month thing. And so what ends up happening is someone will come for a little bit and then have like a 2-week break, and then they'll come for a little bit and then have like a 2-week break, and it gets frustrating for everyone involved.
Sounds
Not
very
really
efficient.
frustrating for us because we'll work with you when you're here. It's frustrating for the client. And
However, Amy, the Bobby Dodd and in community, while their funds are limited, it won't cover an entire year of LEAP. Those funds can be applied to the LEAP program, though.
yes,
That's why I said community access group, because his program is a group program. And then community access individual would cover anything like social club that she might want to attend, a community living supports, respite, any of that, we can use it. It just won't cover the entire cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, thanks for saying social club again, Kat. That's what got me started, and I forgot to mention that. With the students that are 18 and older right now, Kat does a great job of every quarter putting together a list of possible activities for them where they can come together away from Eaton Academy and have fun. They go to main event, they go to movies, they go to restaurants, they do movie nights in one of the apartments. And actually, Kelly and Kat have been working with Mr. Henderson in the high school. We are looking to put together a social group program for the high school PACE kids as well. And if that's successful, then again, I see some of the younger families, we may be able to even do it down in the middle school as well. So those are all possibilities. The other problem with the GVRA is like Scott said, if they're going to provide payment for the services, you applied in August, they don't come through until September or October, we can't have the student here and have the families pay for it in the meantime, because we're not allowed to charge for services that GVRA is going to fund. And it's like, but they want to start now. No, you can't.
Oh,
do
and
that.
Brian, to jump in, they will only run those services for 3 months.
Right.
So you'll get like 6 weeks of coming over 3 months, and they'll go, that was 3 months.
So
Okay.
it's problematic, but
Sounds like
again, if you have any questions, reach out to us. Always happy to answer. And again, thank you for your time and coming in tonight. Good
Thank
night.
you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See y'all tomorrow.
Okay, bye.